New York was beautiful today. It was a beautiful spring day. So I hope that you and your families had a wonderful day sharing time together, doing things,
Connecting.
you're doing things that are positive and well on a beautiful Sunday. Um, we're going to talk about parents, making sure they maintain a balance, and we're going to talk about child wellness for about an hour or so. We're going to be tuning in with you, so we hope that you find it resourceful. My name is Tammy Baxter. Many people also know me as Tam Tam in the music industry, and we have a wonderful, resourceful guest speaker today. Please welcome Empress Isheba Carranza. Empress.
Greetings. Greetings, everyone. It's a pleasure and it is an honor to be here with you. As Tam Tam said, I trust today you all were building with your families. I trust you went outside and was able to get some of those the vitamin D on, and it's just a pleasure to be here with you today.
So I want to talk a little bit about who you are, Empress, because you're an amazing human being. May I?
Good, thanks.
Empress is the mental health consultant and CEO of Royal Divine Solutions. She has, prior to this, 13 years of early childhood teaching experience. My Lord. Master of Arts degree in clinical mental health counseling. She's an advocate of social change, social justice, and her specialization, and I know she's very passionate about domestic violence, child wellness, and mental health awareness for all. She's currently working in the U.S. Virgin Islands in the mental health field. And again, we welcome you. Um,
Thanks.
Make It Balanced Foundation is so blessed to have you. I mean, really and truly, your expertise is amazing.
Good,
I want to
thanks.
I want to get right down to it. And this is going to be like a bounce off with me and the Empress. We go way back and we
Way back.
way back
Yes.
and we really love engaging with families, connecting with people, through
Extending
music,
education,
through
just educate.
education. So we really want to share the conversation with all of you. And if you have any questions after, we're going to tell you how you can get in touch with us.
Sure. Yep.
So I want to start with Make It Balanced Foundation. Thank you for joining our first webinar. The mission of Make It Balanced Foundation is to support small businesses, nonprofit organizations, and families negatively impacted by pandemics, natural disasters, and other events which may cause hardship. This is something that I have been very passionate for the majority of my life, helping others. And in this current pandemic, it is something that I took the forefront to make sure that I have people around me that share the same ideals that want to help others. So our targets for 2020 and 2021 is to assist small businesses and nonprofits located in New York City Metro. Yes, New York. We both have our hearts in New York for
Sure.
many, many years, and I
Sure.
currently live in New York. And then to provide assistance on relief efforts for families and schools on the island of Jamaica. Jamaica is an island. I love you all. If you're tuning in from Jamaica, half of my family is from Jamaica. Some of them still live in Jamaica. So I want to give my shout out to JA. Yes. And how can you help for our efforts of what this foundation is trying to accomplish? Please donate. Either donate during the webinar, while you're tuning in on Facebook Live, after the webinar, to makeitbalanced.org/donate. You can donate as little as $1 to as much as you can give. Please share the support in what we're trying to do for New York City and Jamaica. The sky is the limit with what we can do and what we can accomplish. Any words on that, Empress?
Well, I was just going to say, keep in mind also that if you are not able to give, just make sure, as she said earlier on, just share it, let others know about what's going on. When Tam Tam contacted me about Make It Balance Foundation, and she told me the mission and the vision, it was right up my alley because since I've been in Virginia for the last 10 years, I've been serving the community, especially relates to domestic violence. When the Bahamas had their situation, we were able to support them by offering relief, and also people that are struggling, whether it's homelessness and so forth. So it was just an honor and a pleasure to be a part of Make It Balance Foundation when Tam Tam called me and told me that she wanted me to help her and to do this. So it's my pleasure.
Well, we love you and we thank you for being a part of it. So let's get started here, shall we?
Yes.
The first things first with parents. Before you talk about child wellness, Empress, I'm sure you agree that the parents, we're the heads. I'm a parent. I'm a parent of 3 children. I have children in elementary school and one in junior high school.
Mm.
You have to be that support to strike that balance. It all begins with you. All of you around the world, it begins with you. You have to be that backbone.
Yeah. I had, you heard, had my chance in raising 2 children. My son now is 24 and my daughter now is 20. So I knew what that was like before, and my heart goes out to everyone, every parent out there, especially with what's happening now. So we need to learn and we need to understand how can we strike a balance and be supportive not only for ourselves but for our children so they can thrive in a healthy manner.
It's so true. So parents, take that step. Make yourself that backbone and you set that plan for your family. Mothers, fathers, grandparents, guardians, you set that foundation. You hear?
Well, Tam Tam, but what does that foundation look like? For some people, well, how do we strike that balance? What is it that we are going to do? What is it that we need? What kind of resources are available for us to strike that balance? So that's where we are going to go into the webinar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I found a really good resource. You know me, I'm always researching the nonprofit world, the for-profit world, trying to see what's going on, how I can help others achieve their balance. And I found this really great tool from Portal Tech. So shout out to Portal Tech. They have a really cool little skit on working from home with kids. Because if you don't have it balanced, it's gonna be chaotic, I'm telling you. So use visual cues to designate your workspace. That is so good. Like first things first, the children, the teenagers, they need to know where is your workspace. Don't change where your workspace is. If you have a designated space as the parent, as the adult figure in the house, they know that's your go-to workspace. When you have a meeting, when you have to get some work done, if they see that it's, very serious what you're doing, they're going to know that's mommy, that's daddy, that's grandma, you know that's auntie's workspace, and when she's there and she's busy, I'm gonna give her her time and wait and till when we schedule our time together.
Yeah,
Empress, what do you say about that?
yeah, and you know what I like about the visual cues? We have to remember that not all children are visual learners. There are different modalities of how children learn and are stimulated in the environment. There's visual, there's auditory, and there's tactile. So I really like this idea of putting up the visual cues. So if we do have a child that is a visual learner, it's going to be easy for them to understand where, as you mentioned, mom or dad or any one of the family members has their work designated space.
It's so true. Help kids create a routine and add structure to their day. This to me, after that, is the next most important thing. Because again, as you're the one striking the balance, you need to help create the schedule. I know for a lot of us, we're having the schools give us homeschooling assignments, and the teachers or the parents now turn to be teachers. If any of you teachers are listening online, shout out to the teachers, the principals, and the parents. Kudos to what you're doing. I know a lot of teachers are just getting adapted to a lot of these online learning platforms. But what I would say, and I continue to say with this, I'm an advocate for enrichment programs and family time. You need to be able to let the kids have a balance with all of this. This is a chaotic time, and they may or may not understand what is all going on, but they need to have their independence, and some time to do creative things aside from all of the schoolwork that is being thrown at them. Empress?
Yes, we want to keep in mind that before the coronavirus, there was a schedule, there was a routine that existed for the children as well as for the adults. And these routines helped the family dynamics function appropriately, function smoothly, right? So now here we are with the coronavirus and we don't have that opportunity anymore. So how else do you expect children? How else do you expect the adults to engage? They're going to be anxious. They're going to be a little bit stressed, you know? So having that routine is key. Something as simple as getting a post-it or something as simple as getting a sheet of paper and starting the schedule, you know, whether you get up 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever it is, and then invite your child, invite them to have some input into what that schedule is going to look like. Don't just assume or don't just always make that demand that I'm going to set the schedule for the child. Because as this is suggesting, you want to give your child that independence. You want them to be able to say, hey, you know what? I have a part to play in this. And what does that do to their self-esteem? It actually boosts it. You know, when a child is able to feel that they have a sense of a part in the family dynamics, it helps them. It makes them feel important. It helps them feel a part of the family as opposed to isolated. So routines are key. And adults, we all know, right? We were going to work 9 to 5. We had our lunch break. Boom. Now all of a sudden, now we're home, right? Now we have to figure out what we need to do. So as much as we have to have our schedule, it is important for our children to have their schedules as well. So please set up that routine for the children. And it's a partnership. That's the key thing that I want you to remember. Not just because they're little people, you know, they don't have a say-so in this. It's a partnership.
So true. Thank you for that.
You're
And
welcome.
I've spoken to a lot of colleagues, and they talk about how when they work from home, they work more. They don't take breaks. Please
I
don't do
noticed that.
that to yourself,
Mhm.
because I've been working remotely. I have planned a large scale festival mostly remotely for many years, and you have to give yourself the breaks. You have whatever makes you stress free, whether it's meditation, yoga, watching a movie, spending time with your family, going on and doing some exercises, whatever it is, singing, playing
Right,
an instrument.
right.
You need to have time for yourself. You need to take breaks. You need to take breaks to eat something to replenish your body. Don't feel like you're working on the computer and you now have to work even more than what your regular schedule is. That's where that communication with your employer comes into play. You really need, for your own health, to take those breaks, just as your children need to take those breaks.
But you want to know what also? Creating that schedule is vital. You know, having a calendar if you need to, and just making sure to list it. And you remember the other slide I talked about visual? Well, guess what? For us, we need visual aids to help us keep on track. So writing it down, you know, saying from 8 to 11, I'm going to be focused on such and such. And then from 11 to 11:15, I'm going to take that break. The same schedule and the routine that we're going to set up for ourselves, guess what? Is the same thing for the children, but you have to be realistic, you know, because some children, you know, the younger they are, their attention span is going to be limited. So you don't want to set a schedule or plan that schedule with that child, and it's not a realistic time frame that it's going to happen. So that's another key thing that I want you all to remember, that whatever it is that you're doing, it has to be age appropriate according to the child's age, right? That's age appropriate, and it has to be also realistic. The schedule has to be realistic.
It is a really good point, Empress.
Depends.
So what I was getting at with the not being a workaholic during remote time, you need to
Mhm.
communicate with your manager and coworkers, people. You need to let them know, and you need to set boundaries. So if you have children, if you're working from home and you have children, you need to let them know your situation. Don't be shy about it. Tam Tam's telling you that right now, okay? Don't be shy. If you can't make the meeting, or if you're going to have kids in the background during your meeting, you need to be very honest with that, because it would only help you and the situation. I know a lot of you, again, my heart goes out. I know a lot of people have stressful times with all of this. They don't know what they're going to do. I get it. I'm here with you.
It's
But
hard.
it's hard. It is hard to find a balance. But if you have honest and open communication with your employer, with your coworkers, then you can set realistic boundaries for yourself. That's what you need to do to achieve balance right now.
And I like the term boundaries, Tam Tam. I am all about boundaries. You know, we've been
Yes.
corresponding with each other all the time, and I'm like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. It is about boundaries. The same boundaries that we have to set for ourselves is the same thing we set for our children. Is the same thing for our coworkers. Any kind of relationship that we are in, we must learn how to not only set it up, but guess what, Tam Tam? We have to maintain those boundaries too, right? So even
Stick
with
to it.
yeah, so even with communicating with your boss and letting them know, you know what, right now I'm home with the children. I know one of them is sick, the other one is making a lot of noise in the background. Maybe can I adjust my schedule instead of 12 o'clock? Can I adjust it to maybe 2 o'clock that we can start this meeting? But you have to be able to see what your options are and even understand what your options are so that way you can communicate this to your boss. So
Right.
what's the worst case scenario that's going to happen?
You know, when I lived in South Florida with my husband and children, seems like many moons ago, actually, I did an article for a magazine called Achieving Work-Life Balance. And in South Florida, everybody wants to go to the beach. Everybody wants to have a good time. So we as, leaders, we wanted to set schedules that made people enjoy their, their own time as well, because everybody wanted to be out in the warm weather. But I think that if you're on the call, if you're on Facebook Live and you're watching this and you're a supervisor or you're the head of your company, you need to really think about that for your staff, because are they going to be appreciative? Are they going to want to stay after all of this if you don't provide flexibility for them to have good mental health, good wellness? You need to have a balance. Let them have those little breaks to go outside and get vitamin D sunshine. That's all it takes. Let them have a break to get their eyes off the computer. They really need that. They need to be able to come back and be focused for your project.
Yeah, and you know what? I like what you just mentioned about mental health because if you are stressed out about something that's happening in the home, especially with what's going on with the coronavirus, and you have deadlines to meet, and you don't communicate this to your boss, you may end up worrying about something that you've created in your head, right? Which is the negative self talk. And then your negative self talk impacts your feelings. So now you're feeling maybe rejected, or now you're feeling disappointed. And then at some point, your behavior, which is a negative behavior, will end up happening, which then unfortunately you could end up lashing out, whether it's verbally or physically towards your children. So all of that is connected. You know, mental health, it affects our daily living, it affects our relationship, and it also affects our physical health. So the key point, you got to communicate to your boss and let them know what's going on so that way you are not stressed out. Boundaries.
We kind of talked about this next one, is set realistic expectations
Mm.
of what you can accomplish. We got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Mhm.
To expect that it's going to be the same. What I gather with the children going to school, the teachers can't expect them to perform the same amount of assignments, because there's a lot going on at home, trying to make sure everybody's staying well, making sure everybody's healthy. making sure get those enrichment activities in too, so they
Mhm.
can stay well. It's springtime, about to be summer. There needs to be some time outdoors. Um, and some of our parents are essential workers. Man, I really send my love to all those essential workers out there. And I know that it's so hard. I don't know how you guys are balancing it, but I really
Yeah.
send my love
Yeah.
and
Yes.
praises
Yes.
out to them. You are heroes. You are heroes in my book, in many people's books. But you got to set the realistic expectations of what your children can accomplish, what you can accomplish, and you know what? You do your best.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the last point. Figure out figuring out your working hours, when you'll be most available, and how much you can get done. When I think about that, I had not had the opportunity of working from home. However, I am an essential employee, so I do have to report to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And with this pandemic that has happened, unfortunately, I have to reevaluate even my interactions with individuals that I work with. So this part here, even figuring out my working hours, and also setting up a particular time and making sure that I'm doing more of the um, virtual videos with the individuals that I service, that is key. It's the same thing as what we want the parents to understand, that you can still do this in home, but you just have to set it up and make sure that, one, you're being honest about what's happening. It's realistic and it's something that you could accomplish.
Absolutely, Empress. Let's go now to the children's stuff, shall we? We found some really great resources for parents to share with their children. Empress Isheba, why don't we talk about this amazing one that we found from Scholastic?
Sure, the Mooster's life lessons for children. Sometimes as adults, we need those life lessons for adults, right? And this is a great time that they came out with this. First aid for feelings, a working to help kids cope during the coronavirus pandemic. We have the English and we have the Spanish version. We apologize for those who speak other languages. However, this was what was available, so we thought this was the best that we can do. Okay? Yeah, and we're just going to go through it so that way you can see what it is, and we're just going to touch upon it as well. Because the most important thing is, because of the coronavirus, there's been a shift, right, Tam Tam?
Yeah,
As we talked about before, the routine that was once before for our children and for the adults is no longer there. So, and and because of the coronavirus, some of the conversations that are happening in the environment might be inappropriate, right? We talked about realistic. Well, some of the conversations may be inappropriate. Some of the conversations may allow your child to end up having some anxieties about what's happening. They may end up worrying. So we want you to understand that because of what's happening, sometimes our conversations have, it must be appropriate, it must be realistic, so that way we do not cause any stress upon our children. And this workbook is excellent. So for instance, right now, what to do when I feel afraid. This particular piece, why is it that we want our children to understand what they need to do? We need them to understand that there are options, that even if they are feeling overwhelmed, afraid, they're worried, they're scared, here are some things that they can do. Turn on the TV, maybe drink some water, listen to music, write. Journaling is excellent. Talk to a caregiver, or someone who they can trust. Talk. Take some deep breaths. While Let me tell you something about deep breaths. When you take deep breaths, it allows oxygen to flow to your brain, and when oxygen goes to your brain, you're able to think clearer and you're able to be more focused. So we want our children to practice deep breathing exercises. It doesn't cost anything at all. I think if you are able to help your child engage in deep breathing exercises every day, it's going to reduce some of their anxieties of what they're having. So I just wanted to stay a little bit focused on that one. Um, sometimes we have to engage in positive self-talk messages to help us, right? So tell yourself to be brave and that you'll be okay. Sometimes for children, talking may not be that thing. So they may want to just sit somewhere that's private, and they may want to take out a book. Or even taking out a book, they may want to draw, or they may want to engage in some art activity. Or guess what? They may want to create some type of sculpture or something to that effect. And get and give hugs, 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 hugs. It's important. Certain parts of the brain is the pleasure principle. So even when you're hugging, you can hug yourself. Yes, and precise Sheba said it. You can hug yourself. It's okay. We want our children to be able to have options so that when they are feeling afraid, there are some coping skills that they can do. So what else do we have to share with them?
So aside from this wonderful piece from Scholastic, what about this one, Empress?
Oh, wow.
It's so cute. I love
It,
it.
it
I love
is.
Cookie Monster.
I mean, Sesame Street, I believe maybe 98% of the population probably grew up on Sesame Street, and they learned so much information about not only the world, right? Or they learned about relationships, they learned about all kinds of educational stuff. So Sesame Street came out and they partnered with Headspace to help our children cope, right? So monster meditation, and we all know as adults, meditation is awesome. So Tam, do you meditate?
Of course.
Okay,
I
okay.
used to partner with this wonderful nonprofit. I'm gonna keep giving shout outs to all these amazing partners. Falun Dafa. Look them up, everybody. Falun Dafa. You can get free meditation online from Falun Dafa. It's a practice that originated in China, and it really frees your mind. So I have been practicing Falun Dafa for many, many years. One thing that has really helped me in so many ways, that's a whole nother webinar on health and how my health is transformed
Mhm.
physically, mentally, is yoga. I am a yogi. Shout out to all the yogis out there. Yoga is transformational.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you have not done yoga and you're like, what is that? Downward dog? Like, what is that? Try it. I'm telling
Mhm.
you, it is transformational. The energy, the way the blood flows to your brain, it is life changing, life saving. Okay. If you are stressed out right now at home, if the children are stressing you out, try some yoga when they're sleeping or before they get up. I'm telling you, do yoga with your children.
Mhm.
Find yoga that is both kid friendly, children friendly. It really can work wonders. So I watched this with my kids, and my kids are kind of older than the Sesame Street age, but they were laughing. So I think this is an all ages one. It made me laugh. I'll just be honest. I don't think it's just for the toddlers. It's cute. It brings you back to Cookie Monster's meditating, and he's very
Yeah.
impatient for his cookies. So I found it to be very cute, very quirky, and as we were talking earlier, Headspace is an amazing organization, and they've been partnering with Google and many other companies to really help people, and most of it is free. Check out on Google. They have a lot of resources on their website, on Headspace website, for different type of mental health and wellness for all ages. So I would check that out. They're a really good resource.
Yeah, I think it's important to give our children different options so that way they can be balanced throughout the day, and for them to know that even if they are in school, we talked about communicating with our boss, right? But even suppose when our children go back to school and they need to take a time out, they need to gather themselves and ground themselves, they can communicate this to their teachers as well. So
Right.
here's another exercise, grounding exercise for children. Five, four, three, two, one senses. And all they need to do is just to use their senses. Five things you can see, four things you can hear, three things you can smell, two things you can touch, and one thing you taste. When I worked in even in the capacity that I function now, I do this exercise. So even though it says grounding exercise for children, I do these exercises with adults as well. Because once again, it's there's three different types of grounding actually, but I know that's on the next slide. But the reason why I say that is not just because it says children means that an adult cannot do it. And then we have the 5 4 3 2 1 sight, because sometimes children are not able to be focused on either all five senses. So we just may need to break it down for some of the children and just using one sight in a sense, right? And then that will go 5 colors I see, 4 shapes, 3 soft things, 2 people, and 1 book. And when I've even done these exercises with children, each one of them at the ending, they would always say, I feel different. I feel lighter. I feel calm. And that's what these grounding exercises do. It helps you not only maintain your balance, but it just helps you not be so stressed anymore. So do you have the next slide or you wanted me to talk
Yeah.
about the next one? Okay.
You see that one?
No.
Three.
Okay, here it is. Yeah. Okay. So the next one, ABC around the room, right? So we want our children to get connected to a place right now. And if you look around the room, think about the alphabet and see what you could identify with all of the letters of the alphabet. You want to know something? I'm going to tell you a secret. When I take road trips, I would look in the environment and I will play the ABC exercise as well. As we're driving from Virginia to Brooklyn, which is a 6 7 hour drive, right? We play a game and we just look for things related to the ABC, right? So as an adult, I like to play games as well. And now we have something for the children to do. It's stimulating, it helps them, once again, think. It helps them think. We want our children to be able to not only be in a certain mindset, but we want them to think outside the box, and get them stimulating. And then be a tree. There's nothing more grounded than a tree, right? So simple exercises and saying, this sounds like I am firmly planted. I feel my feet rooted on the ground. My back is a strong trunk, helping me feel stable in the moment. I feel my toes connecting with the ground, and you can wiggle them as well. Tell your child to wiggle your toes. My arms are my branches, right? And then you can have your child doing your arm at their branches like this. I feel them reach out into the world, right? Extending those fingers and those toes, just simply noticing their bodies just feeling connected, like a tree. I think this is another, I think about mindfulness with this particular activity, helping them just stay in the present moment and using their bodies in all capacity that they can. And once again, it's a fun exercise for children. And guess what, Tam Tam? You can do it as well. And everyone that is listening, you can do it as well.
Sorry about that. I hit that slide a little bit too early, but
No, you're
it's
fine.
important. It's important. We're in this together, people.
We are.
All around the world. We are in this together. We need to support each other. I just released a song about a month or two ago called Make It, and it is about forming a circle of love. We need to form a circle of love. We need to be at peace, not war, love, not hate. We need to appreciate love and not appreciate hate.
Yes.
You know that, Empress. You know that saying.
And I'm always putting that in the text message, right? I appreciate
Think about
love
the
you.
words that people say. Appreciate love, not
Appreciate
appreciate hate.
love. Yeah, word sound is
Word sound is
word
powerful.
sound. It is powerful,
So
and
we are in this together, and we are here for you. Again, if you have any questions for us after this, anybody tuning in on Facebook Live, anybody in the Q&A that we're going to get to soon, you can reach us at makeitbalance.org/contact us. You can link Empress Isheba. She's a mental health consultant. She got your back. You can reach her at Royal Divine Solutions. That's on Instagram. I'm at Tam Tam Music Official. If you're tuning into Facebook, I am Tam Tam Music Official. Instagram's Tam Tam Music Official.
And I'm also on the Facebook as well. Royal Divine Solutions. You can find me both there and Instagram.
Royal Divine Solutions. And after
Hmm.
this, we'll put out all of those links so you can connect, share, be a part of the discussion, because this is the beginning of many discussions about how we stay balanced. We
Hmm.
have for you, and for those that have registered, you will get this in your email. If you would like this in your email, please send us on makeitbalance.org/contact us. Send us your email, your contact information, your name, and your email so that we can give you these resources. These are amazing resources, amazing educational resources.com. This is for all ages. So you can find educational and enrichment. I mean, it has the catalog of all that you can think of. All of the ones we know, all of the ones that you may not have been aware of. There is a slew of resources on this site. This is like the mother of all websites.
Hmm.
This, and I found it for all of you.
Yes,
And
thanks.
Isheba and I found some amazing resources.
Yeah.
My kids are on the fence sometimes about Minecraft. They want to play it, sometimes they don't. But you know, if your child is into coding and into those type of things, Minecraft is giving a free demo educational version for all ages. So that's something you may be interested in downloading for them. Free easy science lessons for those from kindergarten to fifth grade. Mysteryscience.com. They have a school closure planning link where they have all of these really cool, engaging science lessons, because sometimes science is not that easy in certain grades.
Yeah,
So
it's
this
not.
kind of brings it to a more fun for them to get engaged with science. And then this one I love, I love because
Why do you love this one?
ah, smartmusic.com. Thank you, Smart Music, for giving people a free subscription until June 30th.
Yes, definitely.
So, for
Kudos for
all
that.
of you who play music and want to get more advanced in it, or want to learn music theory, this is also for all ages, from young to old. It doesn't matter. If you have some time to spare, go and get your free subscription at
And
Smart Music.
and we are all about healing, and there's lots of research out there about music and the power of healing. So this is a great link. I mean, with the free subscription, you can't go wrong with that. It's just a matter of typing it in and seeing
Right.
what it has to offer until June 30th. And then if you are interested in furthering, then you just have to sign up.
We also found some really good resources for parents with children with autism. So kidshealth.org, they put out a web page for coronavirus for the parents with children with autism. It gives you some resources to help you out, some advisement. And also Connecting for Kids. This is another shout out to a great organization, Connecting for Kids. They have a resource for parents of
Mhm.
children with disabilities and special needs.
Yeah,
Much as it's challenging for the parents that have kids in the general population, the special needs and disabilities and the autism, my heart goes out to you guys too. I hope you
definitely,
will use this resource and that it can help you out, to
definitely.
give you just another tool and maybe to try some of the things that they suggest on their site.
Sure.
Now, we can't forget the teens and the young adults, because we've been talking a lot about the younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
But Child Mind, Child Mind is a long standing partner of mine. Shout out to Child Mind. I've worked with them before. They are amazing. The things they do for wellness and learning about the brain and all kind of things like that. I love you guys, Child Mind Institute. And you put out this page, this article on supporting teenagers and young adults during coronavirus. And it's amazing because they need support too. As I said, it's all about socialization and giving them support. And there's so many different resources for that. But Child Mind Institute really, you know, hit the nail on this. Really great job, Child Mind, with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have a teenager or young adult, check that one out and see if that can help you out to help with them, and they can visit it too, you know. How's that?
Yeah, yeah, for the teenagers, that's the most critical time in a person's development, because a lot of confusion is going on. We know how we were as teenagers, right? And the world that we live in now is just so far-fetched and so different from what it was before. And it's important for our teenagers to understand and to have resources that is going to help them cope with the stressors of being a teenager. So I think this will be very helpful, and also for the adults, because some adults do not even understand some of the things, even though they were teenagers, but some adults, they struggle with understanding what teenagers go through. So we're here to support everybody, all the family, every age.
Yes. So what's up next, Empress?
Well,
We're gonna do some Q&A. Ask the Empress Q&A.
yes, yes. So thank you. First, I want to say to everyone who has been on here, love and gratitude. Give thanks for your time. I should say, in sharing time and space with us here. We know that you could have been doing other things, and you chose to be here for us, with us during this time. So thank you very much. Thank you. So Sister Vicky, greetings, Sister Vicky. It's a
Greetings, Sister
pleasure.
Vicky.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for what you both do and the resources I will share. Yes, I know you will share it. Once again, she had texted me right before we were going on, and I appreciate, love you very much. Thank you for the support over the years and everything that you even do for the community.
So, Empress, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Let's say, let's say I'm a parent that's finding a really, really hard time, you know, telling my children what's going on and trying, because, they see little inflections if they're not watching the news. Please don't make them watch the news. It's not really that healthy. NYPD put
Yeah.
out a statement not to do that. But they see little things, like if they're watching YouTube, they see little things, little commercials and ads about COVID-19. Well, what would be your advice to, the viewers, the parents, on how to address that when they have questions?
Sure. Good. That's a good question. My advice to everyone would be honest with your child. However, be mindful of the information that you're sharing, because once again, we don't want our children to be anxious, or we don't want them to worry. You can say, we're practicing social distancing by staying 6 feet away. We are not gathering in no more than 10. We are making sure to wash our hands for at least 20 to 30 seconds, right? And that our family, and we're doing our best to make sure that our families are remaining safe. That in itself will reduce the anxieties of what's been going on. You're not saying too much, you're saying the appropriate conversation that needs to be stated to your children. And I think that will not cause any worry for your child. So just be limited, be short, and just reassure your child that they're gonna be okay, that the family is okay, and that we're here to support each other.
So we have a question if what we're putting out on this webinar is going to be able to be replayed. Absolutely. If you're a registrant of the webinar, you will receive a copy in your email. We do have it on Facebook Live, so this will broadcast on Facebook Live. It will be
Mm.
on my handle at I am Tam Tam Music Official. And I'm sure Empress is going to share this because this is such valuable resources for parents worldwide. So yes, there will be opportunity to replay, for you to share it with your families. I know there's been a lot of teachers and principals that have been reaching out and would like to share it with their parent communities. Please reach out to us, makeitbalance.org/contact us. If you reach out to us, we will be able to share. We will be able to forward the resources to you so you can share with your parent communities. and the community at large, because it's so important for all of us to come together and create that circle of love, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm. Yeah, and I wanted to touch upon something really quick, just a little sideway of what we're talking about. Because of the coronavirus, more families are home. There may be more stressors in the house. Unfortunately, domestic violence has risen between 20 to 30% now. And since we're talking about children, I just wanted to educate a little bit. I wanted to offer ways on how we can be more supportive so that way we don't engage in domestic violence. Okay, so when children are affected by domestic violence, sometimes they're affected in certain ways. So with emotional abuse, whether you're telling a child certain comments that you should not be telling them, or and it allows their emotions to be elevated, whether you are using physical or mental abuse, whether you are telling the children that they are no good, whether you're yelling, you're screaming and using profanity, whether you're playing mind games, whether you are destroying property in front of them. It's a stressful time, and we need to be mindful that if we are engaging in these behaviors, it's having a profound impact on our child's development, right? So we need
So
to,
true.
yeah, we need to get back to the basics of how can we be more supportive to children? How can we promote safety? How can we promote more security? Well, we have to learn how to provide appropriate discipline, being consistent, ensuring that the rules are not only appropriate, not only they are age appropriate, but they are enforced. You want to be clear about limits. Giving time. You want to be able to participate in your child's activities, special events, whatever that's going on. If you're planning to do something together, stick to it. You want to make sure to encourage and support your child in whatever it is that they're doing. And it's okay if the child doesn't agree with you. You hear me? Empress Isheba said so. It's okay. Please, you don't agree with everything as what adults do. So don't expect children to always agree as well. And don't take it personally. It's just a part of their their development. You want to make sure and give affection. Whether it's verbal and physical affection. You want to make sure to not emotionally hurt them under no circumstances. Another thing for you to do to nurture your child is you also have to care for yourself, right? Self care. Tam, what do you do for self care?
Yoga, meditation, and just making sure that I have time management. Time management is key.
It is.
There's not enough time. I don't know what's going on with the time. The time is spinning.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, goals, that's important. Make sure you're healthy, make sure you maintain your boundaries, make sure you accept yourself as being loved.
That's
Another
another thing, making sure you're healthy.
healthy, absolutely. Even
Don't eat
eating.
all that junk, people, right now.
Making sure you
If you
are.
if you know, I know that everybody is watching. We know everybody's passing along on WhatsApp and passing along on Facebook and social media all of these videos about the pandemic and how it affects people and everything. But for anything that is an ailment, anything that can enter your body, you are that first offense. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I know about the power of the foods that you put into
Hmm.
yourself.
Hmm.
I have
Hmm.
experienced that for myself, have changed my health based on the foods that I eat and making sure that the things that I put in my body, nobody's perfect,
No.
okay? We're human, but for the most part to make sure. I remember a friend of mine, shout out to Mark, he had said on a group that we need to go back to the days that our parents and our foreparents, all the concoctions that they brewed up and made us eat and drink. You should
Sure.
be thinking about that right now and thinking about that for your children. This time more than ever is to try to revamp your clean eating habits and
Yeah.
healthy mind, body, and soul. How about that one, Empress?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of, excuse me, how do we nurture children? I want to look at this message. I have a fellow colleague has 3 children
Yes.
under age 10, and yesterday on the phone with me, she had breakdown because wanting her attention, just feels lost. What advice you have how she's feeling? Overwhelmed? Absolutely. You know, if you are a single parent and you have, she said, 3 children in the home and they all have special needs, they all have special attention. I could just imagine how overwhelming it is if she has not set up a schedule, and I don't know what her situation is. I would encourage her, like I said, I don't know, but just thinking if she didn't, please set up a schedule, you know. Yes, each child has special needs, so even each child may need that one-on-one time
Yes.
um, during certain times of the day. So I think if she's able to set up a schedule, sit down, look, contact me. If she needs someone to help her create a schedule, please contact me. Sister Vicky, you know how to reach me. I would be more than willing to help the sister. And boundaries, maintaining her boundaries. And you know what? When she needs to go and she goes to the restroom, guess what? That will be her me time. And during her me time, she can do her paced breathing exercises. She can do her meditation exercises. Let her put on the music, you know, during that time. And that's how she can take care of her self-care. She can create a positive self-image. My positive self-image is I'm on the beach, but now that I'm in St. Croix, I actually go to the beach. But I'm saying mentally, you know, we want to create a safe place in our psyche mentally, so that way we can go there anytime that we're feeling overwhelmed, and it has worked. I've used it many times when I work with individuals. I also share that with them. I also walk with them through a visualization exercise, so that way they understand what it is. So it's something easy. And guess what? You know how we were talking about free resources earlier on? It's free. It doesn't cost anything to create that safe place in your head. So thank
Empress,
you for that.
Empress, if I could just add to that,
Mhm.
blessed love, Sister Vicky. Thank you for being on the Zoom Q&A. You know, I'm a parent of 3 children. 2 of my children are under 10. I want you to relate to this parent that she's not alone. We are all going through this. It is a very stressful time. And, you know, I think that if she has fellow parents that she's friends with, as maybe like a social network, to try to see what something that they're doing that may work. You know, I have the opportunity to be blessed to have friends who are teachers, who are educators, and I've asked them because I didn't know I was going to be teaching 3 kids at school, you know, along with all of my other things that I do. But you know, like one of the things, one of the pieces of advice they gave me is, you know, if you have to work and you have a certain schedule of work, try to wake up and have your child wake up a little bit earlier to try to get their schoolwork as much as their schoolwork done before your work day, or schedule it before or after. I think even for the essential workers, they're going to have to balance their schedule. And you know, for the most part, I'm hoping and praying that teachers and schools are flexible with the time that kids have to put their assignments in.
Yeah.
But you know, my heart goes out to her. She's not alone. She's
Yeah.
not alone. What she's going through is no different than what all the parents. Did you see that? There was something on, I think, TikTok or something, where the man, he hid with a cardboard box that looked like his couch. He was hiding from his kids.
That was
I
so
mean,
creative.
I
Oh
was
my
very
gosh.
creative.
I
So
cried so much with that. Oh my
was
gosh. Yes.
funny, but you know, the reality is parents are overwhelmed.
Yeah.
There's times where
Yeah.
you're not human if you're not a parent and you haven't thought like, why is this
Hi.
happening? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you just have to know that we're in this together. You're not
Hmm.
alone. You just need to
Yeah.
sit down, take a deep breath, and figure out what
Yeah.
works for you.
And you know, Sister Vicky, I know you know me. My friend is a massage therapist, and she and her husband are accustomed to kids being at daycare now. She's home every day with them and overwhelmed. Thank you for the support. You know, Sister Vicky, you probably didn't know that I was a teacher for 13 years, because in Virginia, I always talk about domestic violence, right? So it's my honor that as a resource when it comes to people, right, and anyone that needs assistance, you know how to contact me. Just contact me, because I usually have some type of idea on how something else could happen. You know, if you're dealing with a stressor, I usually have an option, or I usually have options for how things can be better. And I also like to work with people to make things better. That is very important to me, to connect and to make sure that we, you hear the word, we figure it out, not me, but we. So, Sister Vicky, give thanks again. And I wanted to get back to how do we continue to nurture our children. Once again, keeping yourself healthy, because if you're not healthy, then you cannot help your child. Trust and respect. Just as well as adults, we like respect, right? We want other adults to be trustful. It's the same thing with our children. You know, we have to be able to acknowledge our children's rights, that they have their own feelings, that they have their own friends, they have their own activities, and even their own opinions. Yes, parents, I know that's like, what? But yes, children do have their own opinions, and that's okay, even though you may differ. It's okay. You want to be able to promote independence, as what we mentioned earlier on, even allowing for privacy. You know what, Tam? I tell everybody this. When I was growing up, you know, my mother allowed me privacy. She was never the mother to come in my room. She was never the mother to look through my drawers. Even when I used to go out after a certain age, I was a teenager, she never disturbed me. And you know, I did the same thing with my children. I'm that parent, I never, 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 because I respect people's privacy just as well as I want my privacy to be respected just well as others. Bless you, will do. Connect with you. Yes, Sister Vicky, please make sure you know how to connect me anytime you need to. Blessed love. Um, and also believe your child, okay? You want to make sure that your child is coming to you for whatever it is. You want to make sure that you're open, you know, because what a better person for your child to go to than you? You want to be able to promote emotional security. Talk with your children so that they feel safe. Safety is important to me. Safety should be important to you. And that they feel comfortable expressing themselves, even though it may be a sensitive topic, but you want that to be an option that's available. Please be gentle, you know, and please be dependable. You know, sometimes as parents, we say, okay, I'll talk to you at 7 o'clock. And then when 7 o'clock comes, you busy on the phone with somebody or you're doing something else, right? That is not cool, because guess what? Your child is expecting you to be available. So you want to make sure word sound. Remember we were talking about word sound earlier on? You want to make sure that what you tell your child is exactly what is going to happen. And if in the event that you find you're doing something, you communicate that. Once again, communication, right? You communicate that to your child to say, you know what? I am unavailable at this present moment, which is 7 o'clock, but can you please give me until 7:15, and then, excuse me, and then we will be able to correspond. And making sure to provide for physical security. You know, food, clothing, shelter is important. Personal, making sure that personal hygiene, that their nutrition are being maintained, monitor their safety, making sure there's the routine, and just attend to your children's needs. In order to foster a good relationship, especially when domestic violence is unfortunately in the home, we have to remember we could always nurture our children, even you as an adult who might be dealing with emotional abuse, psychological abuse. You have the capacity to heal. If you need to reach out to me, please do so. I am on Messenger, Isheba Carranza. Please message me, and we will connect. And whatever information that you need, I will be glad to help you. I thought I took this off. Sorry about that.
I'm typing your name on here so that everybody has it.
That's fine.
Isheba, Isheba,
Yes.
Carranza, Karanza.
Yeah.
Please reach out to her Facebook Messenger. Give them the handles for Instagram and Facebook again, Empress.
The handles. Now remember, you taught me that, so I'm gonna say it's
After the at.
it's yes, I'm such a simple person, you know, Tam Tam. Tam Tam and I, you know, we reconnected after many, many moons, and I'm so grateful, as I was grateful to her before, and I'm grateful for her now. So she taught me about that, absolutely. And look, Asheba Carranza, you can find me. World Divine Solutions on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm available. Whether it's phone, text, or video, just reach out to me, and I'll be here for you. I want you to know I am a resource, and whatever information, suppose it's not even related to this, but I still need you to contact me so that way I can help you figure it out. So, I know. Are we wrapping it up? Because I see the time.
Yes.
Okay.
So, what I want to say to the worldwide family, give thanks. If you're tuning in live, if you tune in later when we share it, we want to reach out and give all of you our love, our blessings.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people feel like that they're going insane because they're there spending time with their kids. Hallelujah. What's wrong with that? You need to get to know your children. Now is the
Mm-hmm.
time. I take every negative and find a positive. Get to know your family, get to know your children, get to
Yeah.
know, you know, what they like to do and what they like to do with you because they're part of your family. But what I want to end with is please support our nonprofit, Make It Balance Foundation. You can go to makeitbalance.org/donate. I want to share with everybody that we're going to have a special announcement within about a month. I will share it with you. Empress will share it with you in about a month. It is a
Mm-hmm.
music event that we are very excited to share and present. So please stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And in the meantime, we want everybody to continue to connect with us. Um, Again, Isheba Carranza, Tam Tam Music Official, Royal Divine Solutions. We will put them in our social media and share and connect. I will put it on the makeitbalance.org site so that everybody has the contacts. And we enjoyed the first webinar. We hope you did too. I want to
Yeah.
wish everybody a
Mm-hmm.
blessed night.
Mm-hmm.
Empress, I give you the last words for the family, the worldwide family.
Yeah. So just to be a reminder, yes, we're going through this pandemic. Yes, they have put, I say they, the government, certain measures in place. Continue to wash your hands. Continue to practice 6 feet of social distancing. Continue to not gather no more than 10. I know that they're opening up other states, other places. Please be mindful when you are going out. Please be mindful of the people that you're coming into contact with because you don't know who may or may not have it. So just always be aware of that. Yes, sometimes it's stressful in the home right now, but you can get through it. Remember some of the coping exercises that we've shared with you. The key one is paced breathing. If you need to call me and you need to help you with it, but you could also do what is it? YouTube. YouTube has lots of information on how to do deep breathing exercises. And we love you. We are here for you, and we are here to support you all the way. And it's been a pleasure once again spending this time with you, and we appreciate love you spending the time with us as well.
Blessed love. Give thanks. Blessed.
More love. Yes, Sister Vicky, more love.
Give thanks, Empress Aishiva.
Give thanks to Tam Tam.